Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video, we are talking about some signs that show that your succulent is unhappy. Now, I have already spoken about this earlier, so I just wanted to talk about it once again. Now you can see all of the succulents have opened up. Even the one which was closed has also opened up, which indicates that it has now started to absorb the water. So I'll put the picture on the right hand side to show you what went wrong with the succulent and why the succulent was unhappy. Now it was related with the soil being compact. Now as soon as I changed the soil, you might have seen the video. I've already put the video earlier. As soon as I changed the soil, after 48 hours, this is how the succulent looks like. It has completely opened up. So here the problem was with the soil mix. The soil mix turned slightly compact, due to which the succulent was not happy. I had to repot it. While repotting, I checked the roots. The roots were healthy. So hence I went ahead and put it in another pot with filtering the soil even more. It had a little bit of fine dust. And once the soil was loose and porous, within 48 hours, the succulent opened up. There was no problem with the roots and the succulent opened up. Now the succulent is happy. Earlier the succulent was not happy. As you can see in the picture that's on your right hand side, the soil was compact, due to which the succulent was not able to absorb the water, and hence it was completely closed. And now the succulent is all happy. Another reason your succulent is unhappy is when the succulent starts getting dehydrated. Now this is nothing related with soil, but this was because the roots were not formed. Now I took it out of the soil because I was worried whether the succulent is getting dehydrated because of the soil. But luckily I seen that the soil was perfect. The only issue over here was the new roots are just getting formed, and it was getting a lot of morning direct sunlight. The new roots are just emerging right now, due to which it's not able to absorb a lot of water. It is going to just start their journey with new roots, so it's going to take another 1 month or so for the succulent to start reviving back. So what I've done is I have uprooted it, and I'm going to keep it away from any form of direct sunlight. I will not even provide it with morning direct sunlight until the roots are completely formed. At times what happens is the roots get damaged, due to which the succulent tends to look like this. The succulent is unhappy when there is problem with the roots. Over here there was no problem with the roots, but it was starting to put out new roots, due to which it was getting dehydrated, because the new roots, as you can see, they are very tiny, they are very delicate, they are not completely established to take up the water, due to which the succulent is looking extremely dehydrated. I'm going to put it back into the soil, and I'm going to keep it an indirect bright light so that the roots can be formed, and very soon, once the roots are strong enough, they will start to do their work of absorbing the water and giving it to the succulent, and then the succulent will slowly start to open up. So this is another indication when the roots are not completely formed, the succulent will look slightly unhappy because it does not have the roots to absorb the water. Luckily the roots are just starting to come up. Probably the issue here, what happened is the older roots were not very functional, due to which it was not supporting the succulent. So all the 3 clips that I'm going to be showing you in this video, the first 3 clips are going to be of the succulent being unhappy because of some issues with the roots. The first clip that you seen was the succulent was unhappy because the soil was compact and it was not able to absorb water. The second one was wherein the roots were not developed, due to which the succulent was not able to absorb water and was unhappy. Now the third instance is, let's say that there is some problem with the roots and the roots are completely getting rotted. This succulent is extremely healthy, but this is just an example because I do not have a succulent that is having a root rot. So touch wood, I hope that never happens. But this is just an example, so I'm going to show you. Let's assume that there is a rot over here. Let's say that this part where I've kept the scissor, from here downwards, let's say that you have some issue with your roots. The roots are getting rotted, and what you're going to do next is, because you need to get rid of the root rot, so you're going to quickly go ahead and chop off the root like this, and you have to check. The stem should not be dark inside, should not be black inside. Once you feel that the stem is not darker or black in color, you are good to go. After which you have to let the succulent callus and air root, whichever depends upon you. If it gets calloused within 2 to 3 days, you can then go ahead and put it in soil, or like me, I tend to air root it, so you can do any of that option. And then you can just discard the dead part of the root. So in this way you can get rid of the problematic area, which is the root. In case if there is some problem with the roots, probably the roots are getting rotted, or let's say there is some mealybugs in the roots and the roots are completely damaged, then this is the way you can cut off the stem. Because of this issue, the succulent is unhappy, so you have to fix the problem by cutting off the infected part of the root, and then let it callus, let it air root, and then slowly and steadily, when the new roots will start to come out, the succulent will get happy. Now here is another sign that the succulent is getting too much of light. Now the problem over here, I'm going to show it to you what happened. Now this succulent was kept in a position where it gets morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, and after which it starts getting indirect afternoon sunlight. So basically it does not get any kind of direct afternoon sunlight. But now that the direction of the sun has changed, the entire pot used to get covered when it used to get afternoon. So like after 12 in the noon, the entire pot used to get indirect sunlight. But because the direction of the sun changed, what happened over here was only the half portion, like this portion that you're seeing over here, was receiving indirect afternoon sunlight, and this part was getting direct afternoon sunlight. So you can see what happened with this. Now the succulent is extremely unhappy because it got exposed to afternoon direct sunlight. This is the reason why I say do not expose your succulents to afternoon direct sunlight. Now it has been moved to a different place, so it's recovering. You can see a lot of new growth on the crown area, but the older leaves are completely burnt. Now as I said, never ever pull out those burnt leaves. Let them be as it is. They are not going to cause any harm to your succulent. Just let it be on it. Eventually it will dry out naturally and fall off, but the new growth is going to come out very fresh and clean. So this is an instance wherein it shows you that the succulent is getting too much of light and it's not liking that light, due to which the succulent starts to get burnt and it is unhappy. So this was another example of what happens when you leave your succulents out in afternoon direct sunlight. The entire portion, you can see this entire portion was getting indirect afternoon sunlight. This little portion got exposed to afternoon direct sunlight, and you can see how it got burnt. Now this indicates that the succulent is unhappy because it's receiving too much of direct harsh sunlight, due to which it's getting burnt. So now that we spoke about excess light, what happens when there is less light? Again, the succulent is going to be unhappy when it does not receive the correct amount of light. These are the perfect examples of when the succulent does not get enough light. You can see how they are stretched. This is another sign that your succulent is not happy because it's starting to stretch. It's not getting the correct amount of light, due to which it is starting to stretch in order to find that perfect or the desired light that it requires to grow. Now when you have a situation like this, the only thing what I can suggest is just cut off the part where you see it is getting a little compact. Like over here you can see the crown area is now slightly compact compared to the rest of the succulent. So I will go ahead and cut it off over here. There we go. Now this is going to get new growth once this stem gets calloused. It will have new growth around it, but it won't have the continuous formation of growth. We'll do the same thing to this one as well. You can see the crown area is slightly compact. Gonna go ahead and cut it off, and another one over here. Go ahead and cut it off like this. So let's take out the lower leaves which look slightly out of place. So we have 3 of them. Now all we have to do is just wait for them to callus and air root, and then we are going to put them into other pots. So this is how we can treat a stretch succulent. But we do not need to throw this out. We will plant them once again. They will start to grow. There will be new growth where we have given a cut. We have to ensure that this also tends to get calloused. Not only this part has to get calloused, but even this has to get calloused. If you drop water on this part, the entire stem will start getting rotted. So you have to be extremely careful. I will plant these stems in another pot, and we're going to see what happens next. So this was an issue wherein the succulent is unhappy because it's lacking light. So you need to have a balance of the correct amount of light, not too much, not too less. You need to have that balance amount of light. Either it could be in the form of indirect bright light or morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.